call to order tonight's town council meeting for Fort Mill Town Council. Thank you all for joining us. If you have a device, either a cell phone, an iPad, anything that might ring, buzz, chirp, or sling, if you would, please turn it on silent so that we can all hear you and you can hear us. I appreciate it. Ronnie, would you like to pray tonight? All right, we will, as a council, we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and an invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, as we come before you tonight, we thank you for the many blessings. We thank you for being with us tonight. We pray that you guide us, direct us, give us wisdom to conduct the town's business, and we give you the praise and glory for it all. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So thank you all for joining us. Fortunately, not very often, but there are occasions that folks that we have served with, Ronnie and I in particular, because we've been here forever, but we lose a person now and then. And I would like to recognize that Bobby Beam, Kim Beam's wife, Ken used to serve on council when I did, was laid to rest today. So our thoughts and prayers are with her family, and there are many other folks that pass, and we think of all of you. So thank you so very much. With that, council members, you've seen the minutes for January the 8th, January the 15th, January the 22nd, and January the 29th, 3 of those being council work sessions and 1 full-scale council meeting. Do we have any changes, deletions, or additions?
Hearing none, I move to approve the minutes as read.
Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, thank you so much. Pursuant to Section 2-46 of the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Fort Mill, any citizen of the town may appear before the council for the purpose of providing public comments on any municipal matter, except personnel. Those who wish to speak must sign in outside of council chambers prior to the start of the meeting. Citizens will be given 3 minutes each to speak. Because I see the sign-up sheet was on the podium, not outside. Do we have someone signed up? Okay, great. I was just going to give them another chance if they didn't see it. Thank you. All right. So with that, we will invite Agnes. Help me out here.
DeBlasi.
DeBlasi, thank you. Agnes, if you'd like to join us at the podium and state your address, please.
My name is Agnes DeBlasi, 106 Rich Street, Fort Mill.
Thank you.
I don't even know if this is the right place I'm supposed to be.
Rich Street's in the county, isn't it?
It is.
So, I have a piece of property that I'm trying to put a house on so I can retire. It's behind the property that I currently own. And I need approval for the city water to line and sewer to go to that property. The city water lines are in the back of my current house, and so is the sewer is on the side. So it's not like it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's, you know, congruent to the other
Have you
pieces.
applied through the city for
I
that?
have, and I spoke to Greg Rushing, and he said that I would need approval. And I don't speak a lot in public, ever.
You're doing a good job.
You are doing great. You're doing great, and he is the right person. How long ago did you speak with Greg?
Just last week.
Okay, so it typically takes a little bit.
Mayor, I'll follow up with Greg.
Thank you. Chris Pettit is our interim city manager, and therefore he's Greg's boss right now. Okay. So we will follow up on that. If you're contiguous and they don't find any problems, then surely you'll hear something very soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Good luck with your home.
Thank you. Maybe I'll stick around.
Be our guest. All right, we have a good night tonight of presentation number 1 with 2 of my dear friends, Jan Martin and John Gordon, with the Fort Mill School Bond Referendum presentation. So Jan and John, if you'd like to tell us what's new.
Absolutely. We have up on screen. Well, Thank you for having us tonight. We appreciate that. We wanted to give you the details of the Fort Mill School Bond referendum, and so I'm one of the 3 co-chairs. It's myself and John Gordon and Travis Mayo, and Travis couldn't be with us tonight, or else he would be here. But John and I will share with you the details of the bond tonight, and if you have any questions, we're happy to ask questions. Can I turn it here on this? Okay. So the first thing we want to talk about is the projected growth in Fort Mill. And as you can see, you know, it doesn't matter if you've lived here for 3 years or 30 years, everybody realizes the significant growth that has happened in our area. And if you just look at a couple of the bullet points that are on the slides, you know, we were one of the fastest growing towns in South Carolina. We were ranked, growth was top 5 nationally for its size in 2023, and that's huge. And in the last dozen years, the area's population has nearly tripled. And some of these statistics are from the York County Economic Development. The current enrollment at the Fort Mill School District is 18,199. And you know, every year as we grow, we're creeping up on those numbers of hitting capacity. On this next slide, you'll see that the current student population, like I said, was 18,199, and based on the projections, we're likely to hit capacity around the 2027 mark and then exceed capacity in 2028. And we like to have an advance notice so we can start building those schools to meet that capacity instead of having to do other means of serving students. This next slide is a lot going on this slide, and you have it in front of you, so maybe it's a little bit easier to read. But what's concerning about this slide, and it's the growth rate for each school, but it's glaringly obvious in the elementary and middle schools that we're facing capacity issues right now. Starting with Gold Hill, you can see, and then it'll be followed again by Pleasant Knoll. And then if you look down to the second part, Gold Hill and Pleasant Knoll that's going to happen in 24-25, and then you can just see the red as it grows as the projections go out.
If you don't mind, in the elementary schools, you know, of course, there's 4 schools.
Yep.
They're on a freeze right now, and the new elementary school going on Gold Hill Road is being completed by impact fee dollars. So that's addressing that piece. The middle school piece, you know, Gold Hill and Pleasant Knoll. That's what you'll hear a little bit later in the presentation by the bond. The new middle school is introduced there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, John. So what happens when capacity is reached? Of course, we've already got freezes going on, trailer classrooms, and you know, a point about trailer classrooms is that they are allowed to be built under the law because they're not a capital improvement, but it's cost about $250,000 for a trailer, and that's about equivalent to 3 teachers' salary. And the other thing that it does is that, you know, you have to add lunch serving times. I think, John, your son eats lunch at 9:30? 9:30?
But he eats whenever. So
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of, we compare it to, you know, you can put a lot more beds into a house, but what does that do to your bathrooms and to your lunch times? And so you can only do so much. And bottom line, when school hits capacity, the quality of education will go down. So the solution to this, a school bond vote. And in the state of South Carolina, all of you know this, that's the only way for voter approval to build a new school. The Fort Mill School Bond District Bond Referendum, the total bond is $204 million, and we'll go through the details of that bond in some of John's slides. Now, that's the most that can be borrowed. It could be less. And if the bond passes, it doesn't mean that we will immediately borrow all of that money at one time. We will borrow it as it's needed. And so the tax impact to that is $20 per month, $240 per year on a $400,000 home in Fort Mill. All right, I'm going to let John take the rest of this.
Any questions so far? This slide, debt millage following last bond approval, is pretty interesting. In 2018, there was a $190 million bond approved. The projected debt millage there was 129. As you can see, it didn't hit that. It hit 118. Right now in 2023, we're sitting at 74 mils. This bond is projected to add, worst case scenario, conservative, 15 mils. So that will put us at 89 on school debt, school capital debt. So somewhere between 2019 and 2020, that's where we are projected to be landing with this $204 million bond. I don't think I need to explain this to you. I guess you guys know a lot about mills, but as we kind of take this show on the road, we want to make sure that we're being forthright with folks that this will impact. So owner-occupied residents taxed at 4% on a $400,000 home, $16,000 assessed value. Current debt millage ends up to be $1,184. Additional millage, 15 mills, 1424. So the math. So you know, if you have an $800,000 house, that's going to double. $200,000 house is going to be divided by 2. This is like we like to show school operations. I know there can be a lot of conversations about school operations and how those are paid for too, but school debt service, we want to make sure that everybody knows where that's going to show up on their tax bill. So what will the bond pay for a new middle school? We talked about that, $87 million. That's turnkey from the first day of school. Addresses capacity issues at Pleasant Knoll and Gold Hill middle schools. One of the interesting things in this bond, which could impact the whole community, is Early Childhood Development Center. I didn't know this stat, but 90% of brain development happens before kindergarten. So it's important that we reach those kids as well. Right now, Fort Mill has the capacity for 190 seats. This building would add 750 seats to that total, for a total somewhere around 940 seats. That will be need-based, but it will be free of charge. You think about some of the great centers that we have around that provide that could be a savings $15,000 to $16,000 a year for that year of pre-K. Large renovation and maintenance projects, $24 million. Technology, $20 million. We all know land is not going down in Fort Mill, so land acquisition at $8 million to actively secure land for future construction. This is a schematic of the new Fort Mill middle school, yet to be named. But as I mentioned, it will go next to the Gold Hill, the new elementary school on Gold Hill Road. $87 million there. Talked about the Early Childhood Education Center. Some of the stats on the side. You know, Fort Mill School District has done a heck of a job educating young people. 95.6% graduation rate compared to the national average of 85%. College or career ready, 84%. Second grader on track for success, 68%. But the glaring thing is 52.6% of young people are kindergarten ready. So that means that 48%, of course, are not. One of the stats that I found compelling was for disadvantaged youth, early childhood education can add up to 25% more in wages as their counterparts as they join the workforce. So, you know, again, a great school district. So how do we get better? I think we start with the foundation and the young people. Clear Springs has sent a letter of intent to the school district. They're going to donate some land off of Steel Street. So that's where this school would go. Research has shown that for every dollar invested in high-quality early childhood education programs can yield between $4 and $16 in short-term and long-term social benefits. So it's a good return on investment, and I won't read the other things it's proven to, but very impressive. I was talking with some folks at the school district, and between 88 and 90% of their operational budget is used for staff, teachers, janitorial, security. So that leaves very little room for maintenance, you know, roofs, carpet, those types of things. So when you see a bond and looking at replacing roofs, replacing HVAC systems, we have a lot of buildings in the Fort Mill School District. How are we going to pay for that? It's not going to come from operations. There's a lot of deferred maintenance that's there. New PCs and tablets, 2nd through 12th grade. I've been told the 1st grade tablets have already been procured on that. Network and data center upgrade, and again, land acquisition for future development. So I won't read all these, but one of the things that stuck out to me is in 2023, scholarships alone in the Fort Mill School District total over $44 million. Leads the state SAT and ACT scores for traditional K-12 schools. I don't think I have to tell this group that we've got a great school district here. We want to make sure we continue that success. Per pupil spending, this is operations, so two different buckets of money, but it makes me feel good when the red lines here are the rest of the schools in the York County districts. So you're talking York, Rock Hill, and Clover. Averaging, let's go to 2021 because this is the last of the audited figures, 11,758 average for those other three districts. Fort Mill School District has done less with that, 10,946. So bang for your buck operationally, the cost per pupil is much lower than our neighbors. This is the question. Of course, we wouldn't be here if we didn't want everybody to vote yes, but we just want everybody to get out and vote and know that the vote is March 19th. And that's what we got. Did I go through your ending slides too? Okay. Any questions from anybody?
I have a comment. Two of us that sit up here have been involved in previous bond referendums, and I want to thank you personally because it's a tough road when you're trying to pull together that level of information and talk to people about additional taxes, particularly those that their children have already passed through the school district. And one of the things that I think is important is the better we graduate students to be productive citizens, the better it is for our future, for all of us. And I think that's terribly important. The school district obviously is the largest draw to Fort Mill. It's certainly, we're not in a combative situation or competitive situation, but the need for housing comes to us, the need for education comes to the school district, and we do our best. A lot of the homes that are coming online were approved a while back, and I'm very proud of this council for being very responsible to curb that number downwards. But we're still an overly attractive district. For those that will watch this on video, it is important to note the Fort Mill School District serves the town of Fort Mill, the city of TK, and all of the York County addresses in this area. So when you look at growth, it's not just in the town of Fort Mill. And you look at the numbers, it's not just in the town boundary of Fort Mill. You see tremendous growth outside of that. Right. So I think we've come a long way in the last number of years to better understanding the needs. I can't say anything but congratulations for such an awesome school district, and for the presentation was perfect. It was just very, very good. Council members, do you have any comments or questions?
I went through the school district in 1966 is when I left.
It's changed a little bit.
And see, we've all benefited.
With 3 schools.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. I feel like my elementary school's 99 years old, and they're finally getting rid of it this year, and that my kids can go to the schools they're in. I'm proud of that, and it's really cool. Big quality of life here, and so good job, Ben and John. Thank you for all you're doing in this political climate, and put yourselves out there for all of us in the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Couple of little questions, just clarification too. The new middle school that's going on Gold Hill Road, I'm assuming, and just want to make sure since it's recorded, that's Gold Hill Road right at 21, correct?
Old Gold Hill Road.
So this side of 77
Where the
is where it's
elementary
going
school,
to be. Then second, can you please request the land acquisition be on the other side of 77 when they're doing that?
For traffic.
Just traffic, because everything's over here.
Yeah,
So little request. And then the voting that's going to take place on the 19th. Do you guys know where that will be? Because we are seeing
The precincts?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of changes on the precincts for the presidential stuff that's going on right now. Do you know, or have they set what those?
The best that we can do is send them to the link of SC Votes.
Okay.
That's what we've been told.
And we'll
So
post that on, so we've started a website for Keep Our Schools Strong.
Okay.
And we'll post as much of that information so people can go there and figure out.
If you'll notify us, we'll be happy to supplement that for the folks that live in Fort Mill by telling them where the precincts are.
okay.
We would be happy to do that. Everything's changing, so we would be happy to do that so that people don't have to wonder where to go.
Great.
Yeah, I know my precinct's different right now for the presidential stuff going on.
So is
So I just didn't know with this being just a month or so away that, where we would be if it's to be normal or something new. So
That's great. As soon as we get something concrete, we'll let you guys know.
Awesome, and I'll try to look on SC Votes real quick while we're doing this. Thank you, yeah, but as Gwen said, we've both done this before, and we know
the roadshow you're doing is not always easy, and it's, you're volunteers with this. You're not hired by the school district. This is something that you're passionate about to serve our community, as you guys do in many other ways. So, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I do want to follow up on what the mayor said. That's a good point, clarification. A lot of people have a Fort Mill area code and think that they live in the town. And that's a question we get posed often about building and this, that, and the other. So it's the school district's much bigger than the Fort Mill proper. So for people who have heartburn on growth that's outside of an area that we can help control, they should contact their county representative too to
Two of them.
concerns.
There are two county representatives for the town of Fort Mill. That's Debbie Cloninger and Tom Audette. And there are three of us here that grew up in Fort Mill. Parents went to Fort Mill schools. We went to Fort Mill schools. And the numbers that we see in the school district far exceed the numbers of the whole town there for many, many years. So we understand, and we're working hard on our side to do what we can to curb that level of growth. But when you have something as attractive as such a successful school district, everyone wants that for their children. So thank you so very much.
And I'm not seeing a lot of details on
Probably won't now.
scvotes.org
early.
with that precinct. Usually you can put in your social, so you may just want to reach out and make sure.
Okay.
As Gwen said, yeah, we'll be happy to relay the message.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
With
So-
two graduates out of the Fort Mill School District, and I'm a product of it too, but I know when they went to school, they found that they were really, really well prepared for what college brought and the experiences and the classes and things that they had gotten. So it's definitely something that continues to pay dividends further down the road. So proud to have run them through there. So you guys doing an outstanding job.
We'll all get out and vote and encourage our neighbors to do so as well.
That's all we ask. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for
very
coming.
much.
We appreciate you.
All right, presentation number 2, Employee of the Quarter Award for Maria Watts. Chris Pettit.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'm a proud Fort Mill High School class of 2006, also a product at Fort Mill
Just a
School.
mere baby.
But the Employee of the Quarter program is one where all of our employees have an opportunity to nominate their peers where they see amazing work is being done. That nomination is then reviewed by a staff committee and voted on by that committee. So tonight it's my privilege to recognize Maria Watts as being selected as our Employee of the Quarter for the first quarter of 2024. I've got more to say. I won't say too terribly much, but Maria serves as one of our business license and permitting technicians at Town Hall. She's an incredibly hard worker, which is one of the many qualities that was outlined in her nomination form. But I think the most important quality that Maria has and displays day in and day out, and right now, is her smile.
Yes.
Is her smile and her willingness to help anybody. So no matter what the circumstances are, Maria will greet you with a smile. She will do everything she can to help you. And it's because of employees like Maria that town is what it is today. So I'm very excited to announce and recognize Maria as our Employee of the Quarter.
Congratulations.
Yay, Maria. Mr. Pettit, I'm so glad you brought up her smile, because if you had not, at the end, I was going to say, every time I've come through the front door, that smiling face greets everyone, and that's so important to all of us. Thank you. Thank you so much, and congratulations. All right, presentation number 3, introduction of Lauren C. Hebert, planner for the town of Fort Mill, and Penelope, you get the honors.
Yes, I have a new planner. This is Lauren C. Hebert. I'm so happy. My team is pretty full right now with the planners.
Yay.
So we're happy to have her on the team.
Perfect.
Great.
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Lauren? I mean, is that putting you on the spot too much? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I graduated from Anderson University with degrees in public policy and political science in this past May in 2023. I'm currently in a master's program at Gardner-Webb University, and then I most recently worked for the city of Rock Hill. But I've been here for about 2 months, so I'm really enjoying.
We're so lucky to get you. I'm just so
We
happy to
are.
hear all that. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
All righty.
And
Thank you,
Penelope, did you say that your staff is full now?
Yes, so today
Just
also.
stop right there. Real quick. That's all. So I think we might have some things we've been holding back on that we can kind of release those now.
Yeah, I got also today, first day, a development coordinator, Diana Fragomani. So she started, and so yeah, we're full staff.
Oh,
That's
great.
awesome.
Lauren, you got a great person to learn from. Penelope.
Yes,
Very
you
strong,
do.
so soak
Yes,
that
you
up.
do. She's the best by far. Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
Glad to
Welcome
have you.
aboard.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. All right, we're going to launch into old business. Old business item number 1, second reading, an ordinance annexing York County Tax Map number 709-0000020 containing 1.133 acres. That ward is Ronnie Helms, and Penelope is our subject matter expert.
Yes, Mayor, there's no changes for the second reading.
Okay. Anybody have any questions in regards to this?
Yeah, so I'm sorry I missed the first reading. So that's R 25, so that, even though it's 1.133 acres, that's a little square footage short of being able to put 2 homes. So this is going to be a single-family home?
That is correct.
Is there, okay, I just want to make sure, because that's 49,353 square feet, so it only limited to 1 home at R 25.
The math. I'm not taking you shopping with me.
And, and also, I do apologize, there was one change in the ordinance.
Yes.
We are not taking the right-of-way of that road, because the other properties that were annexed almost 8 years ago, we did not take the right-of-way, so it is still a county-maintained road. So in this ordinance from the first reading, we did take off the right-of-way, just to be consistent with the other properties that have been annexed into the town of Fort Mill.
It would have taken a tremendous amount of work to bring that up to our standards.
Yes, yeah.
So, understood.
Yep. No
Any-
other concerns.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve new business item.
Old business item
Old
number
business
1.
item number 1.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion to approve and a second for old business item number 1. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, thank you so much. New business item number 1, resolution to appoint and commission Lauren C. Hebert as a code enforcement officer for the proper security and general welfare for the town of Fort Mill. Penelope?
We're just happy to have Lauren, and, this is basically becomes official for any
Okay.
code enforcement obligations that we need her to go out in the field.
All right, do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve new business item number 1.
Okay,
A second.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, I appreciate it. New business item number 2, we do have a public hearing. This is in regards to an ordinance to amend the Town of Fort Mill 2040 Comprehensive Plan as amended on September 13th, 2021, so as to incorporate the Town of Fort Mill Trail Master Plan as an addendum to the land use element contained within the plan. Penelope is our subject matter expert, but we will open the public hearing at this time. And no one appears to have comments, so we're going to close the public hearing at this time. All right, Penelope, this is a big and wonderful project.
It is. Can't you tell? I always get so excited with trail master plans. To the town council, thank you so much for your support, for budgeting for a consultant that we worked on for about a year from August 2022 to August 2023. McAdams was the consultant that worked with staff to complete this trail master plan. So for this public hearing and first reading, it is basically, this is a community-led initiative that we did, proposes a comprehensive trail network based on input from residents, visitors, key area stakeholders, town staff, and the Parks and Recreation Subcommittee. The plan builds on proposed trail facilities developed through the 2009 Carolina Thread Trail. It also looks at the Town of Fort Mill 2040 Comprehensive Plan. This plan will guide future development and ongoing maintenance of trails and side paths to increase active transportation and outdoor enjoyment opportunities. And like the mayor stated, this is basically amending our comprehensive plan to add it in our land use element. We went through the process at Planning Commission on December 19th. Chairman Trainer, who was also represented the Planning Commission on our steering committee, we acknowledged him for giving his time to serve on that committee as well. And we really appreciated all the hard work all the steering committee members took. And so when we went to PC, he found a little error in one of the unit counts, so he proposed to look into like a little edit he found. So he did read the whole document. So
James always finds something like that.
yeah,
Called it a nit.
yeah. So, and also there was Commissioner Lucarelli noted about how we're going to fund these future trail projects, and the cool thing is the document itself provided like avenues of what we could consider, and so I was able to answer that question for him, and pretty much we do have the 4 priorities that were set in the book, and that's a guide again, and so they recommended approval of this amendment, and it was by a vote of 5-0. So tonight, since we had the public hearing, this is first reading, it's either for you to approve the first reading of the ordinance to adopt the Fort Mill Trail Master Plan as part of the Town of Fort Mill 2040 Comprehensive Plan, or you approve it with modifications, or you deny it.
Okay. Before we vote, I think it's important to note the public's interest in this project. I believe we hired a very good contractor to come in, consultant to come in, and they performed surveys in different forms. And if I'm not mistaken, they said they had the highest responsiveness to this of any other project they'd worked on. They were astounded at the number of people that wanted to respond. I mean, how often do you want to respond to a survey? So I just was very pleased that I think this is a wonderful step towards a future of walkability in Fort Mill and health, and it's just a wonderful path, no pun intended, for Fort Mill to move forward with something that's distinctly ours. It moves from the Greenway, which is an incredible gift, through Fort Mill, and I just can't imagine anyone not being excited over this particular project.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think this is outstanding. I'm glad we're bringing this in under for consideration. Also, I had a question asked in December if we had adopted this yet. So that was one of those questions. Usually, it's like some other complaint is that, have y'all adopted the Trail Master Plan? I do have a question. So I know we're going to tackle the new comp plans coming up. So we're going to just include this in there for grants and all the other. Will this be a living document like, was the Trail Master Plan going to be a living document like the comp plan, or will it just be like the standard we're setting everything to? So do we foresee any changes in this?
You were looking at Chris or me? Is this
I'm
question?
looking at
I'll answer.
I'll answer.
Any document that we have is
Yeah.
certainly a living document. There's things that may happen outside of our control that impact where some of these trails may end up going. These are lines on a map, but reality may end up being different. But so to that extent, it is a living document that can be amended and changed over time as
And one of the reasons I asked this there again, I was on Planning Commission before, and I know we always use the comp plan as a baseline. So we look at what was perceived to be in that area, whatever. So on council, I expect to use this as we look at new development or improvements or sewer easements or whatever. I just want to make
Gifts
sure that
of
we're going to
land
use
or
this.
monies, we'll be
Yeah,
happy
right.
to.
Private-public partnerships.
Yes.
Right.
And really another step is something to consider with having text amendments in the actual zoning code to like really make it solid, the document. I mean, you have this guide as a living document that's part of the comprehensive plan, but to go further, a step further, if council desires to change certain things to complement the trail master plan as well. That would be another step that I would recommend.
That's great. I actually read almost the whole thing today again. I was like, okay, I'm not reading all the details, but it's a lot of effort, so I do want to commend
Yeah.
everybody that was involved. I think a couple of members of council were involved in heavily.
Yeah, it was a team
They all were,
effort.
And it was a lot of involvement from the community, and there's a lot of excitement under this plan, so it's,
Yeah,
I think
and I
it's great.
really, want to take the time, since it's recorded, to thank the community, because at
Yeah.
our open house, we had over 100 individuals excited to come to a public meeting, and really, you don't get that for public meetings.
No, I think
So-
we had 8 at the last meeting for roadway
Okay.
decisions.
Yeah.
So, the
So-
biggest complaint we have is traffic, and we had 8. So I think 100 for the master trail says a lot. Says a whole lot.
The
So,
community's really excited.
I wanted to also thank the steering committee. I know there's been a lot of time and effort that's gone into this. What the audience doesn't see is this is almost a 300-page document that has been provided to us, and it's very professionally done, very appealing to the eye when you're going through it and looking. It's really simple to follow. Will this document live on our website, and where can people find it?
Yes, it's currently, we have a trail master plan project link, webpage, so it's on there. With Mr. Trainer's correction, I need to give an extra, a new revised link to Chris, to upload, but yes, I mean, everything, and it's still gonna be on the actual, website.
Perfect, thank you. And for clarification, this only involves areas inside the town limits of
That
the
is
town
correct.
of Fort Mill.
Yeah, so the 4 priorities it's inside the town limits.
Yeah, so it's not all in the township, including TK or Regent
That is
Park.
correct, yeah.
However, it is designed to interface for the benefit of all.
It is,
to
and we
interface with
did,
the
they
other
looked
trail
at all the
systems.
data with the shape files of, TK and York County, but specifically, our jurisdiction is the town limits, within the town limits.
And adding to that, what I love about this is the inclusivity of what this project is. It's for all ages, it's for all demographics, it's all financial resources. It's whether your parents are coming in from Minnesota or, you've got kids coming, it touches everybody and really helps with the quality of life that we talk about all the time and really is something to be proud of. So thank you for spearheading this. and
Oh, you're
bringing
welcome.
it
And
to
again,
us.
thank you for the support, because without council's support, it would have never been, adopted here, to be here tonight. And then that helps staff go out for grants. So when you're applying for grants and they see that your mayor and council is 100% in support, they look at the grant a little bit better, they really see the value of the community and everybody's, to give you that money for a construction grant. So this is gonna open new opportunities by just having this trail master plan for staff to go look for grants.
You beat me to it. I was actually going to congratulate
Oh.
you. Thank you for
gonna
giving
say,
us, for giving us a vision, because this is what we've asked for many times, is being able to have, what does this look like, so that we can go try to help get funding from other places. So,
There's
again,
some
kudos to
exciting
you.
new things gonna happen this year, I think, because of this
Exciting new
document.
things.
But let's go back a little bit, because Penelope is terribly humble. She does not share that many of the people that are working with us work with us because of Penelope.
Absolutely.
They trust her, they respect her, and they know what a hard worker she is. So we have benefited in ways that you can't calculate on a spreadsheet, just because we have the best working in that role. And people flock to be able to participate with Penelope in a project like this.
Thank you.
So I am very proud to have you in that role, and thank you for what you've brought to this project.
Absolutely.
And Mayor, may I say that she's fully staffed now, too.
So all those
I have all kinds of memos tomorrow morning,
Get busy, Lauren.
Good one.
And then Penelope, can you touch real quick on Elizabeth and how Elizabeth links in the community?
Well,
with this?
going back to Elizabeth, I mean, this was before my time with the Spratt project, with the development agreement. I mean, there's trails in there that they're natural surface, and then there's some areas that are going to be paved. But, once the developer, finishes the project, they will turn it over to the town. So we're trying our best right now when we're reviewing the construction documents to make sure the trail is going to be sustainable because then the town is going to be responsible. But with this project, with this trail master plan, we looked at private trails and how they can connect to public trails. And so there is, they did look into other development. So, we also have land that has been given to the town from the Spratt to the Elizabeth project, the 8 acres where the cemetery is, and then also 50 acres near the river. So there are going to be some overlapping.
Perfect, thank you.
And to Councilman Wolf's point, it is a working plan, so it can change. We never
Anybody else
know.
wants to donate more land
That's
to us for
correct.
trails, we
That's
will
right.
take it.
You'd be surprised. A lot of developers these days, they see it as an asset even for their
Absolutely.
residential communities. So they're more willing, specifically once we have a plan, to go ahead and do trails.
And
Perfect.
thanks again for putting it into our comp plan, because that really gives us the tools that we need in order to keep building off of it.
All
Thank you.
right, I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve new business item number 2. It's the right side tonight.
I'll
It's a
second.
choir. And I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I'll
Thank you,
I'll find the
Penelope.
memo on my desk in the morning.
Dropping it off on the way back out.
We have no information discussion items for this evening. However, we do have several items on our executive session. Please note that council may take action on executive session items listed on the agenda when they come back into public session. Executive,
Make a
whoop, 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 hang on.
I'm ready.
Yeah, hang on, I know you are. Johnny on the jump there. Our first item is discussions incident to personnel matters, our town manager position. Our second item is discussion of contractual matters relating to the purchase of real property. And our third is the receipt of legal advice relating to potential claims and ongoing legal matters. Now go.
I make a motion to go into executive session.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, thank you. We will return.
Yes,
All right, let the record reflect that no vote was taken in executive session, and I will entertain a motion to go back into regular session.
Make a motion to go back into
regular session.
Okay, would one of you second that?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you so much. Thank you all for your efforts. I thought it was an excellent meeting tonight. We had a lot of good information and progress being made. I appreciate the efforts that you've put forth to clarify our ability to move forward. We said we were going to do that in January. We're going to make a concerted effort, and we've done it. So I'm extremely pleased, and I'm grateful to each of you for your contribution. So with that, if there's nothing for the good of the whole, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'd like to real quick, just acknowledge Fort Mill High School wrestling team just
that.
won state championship this week. So I know we continue to have a lot of successes, and just want to congratulate all the high school students that signed their letter of intents this past week, and I know there's more coming this week. So
Yeah,
real quick before we close.
And the wrestling town, that was the second year in a row, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, for 5A, so that's pretty big. So
Pretty
that's-
awesome,
And
too.
very
is.
awesome. So,
They don't
And
get
we-
as much attention, do
they,
they?
well, and we acknowledge others, so I just wanted to bring it up. But if there's nothing else for the good of the whole, I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second? All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? This meeting is officially adjourned.
Didn't